Turned on. Okay, we're going to start tonight's meeting. My name is Jeff Schmidt. I'm the chairperson of the Town of Williamsburg Planning Board. This is our second meeting of the year 2024. First lunchtime meeting. I'm going to hope to get this meeting going and move quickly through there so that if you have to leave because of the weather, it's kind of sketchy out there. First thing we do is go around and introduce the members of the board so that you have a name and face. My name is Jeff Schmidt. I'm the chairperson of the board.
Good evening, I'm Mike Harris, I'm the vice chair.
Mike Waffle, planning board member.
Good evening, Elizabeth Novak, planning board member.
Josh Houghton, planning board member.
Teresa Bickner, attorney to the planning board.
Corinne Van Duzen, planning clerk.
Absent tonight is Matt Hoffman. He's just called in sick. And I think our town planner.
Could be here later.
Chris Farlow will be here in a moment. So we'll start the meeting. The agendas are on the table in the back. They're also posted on the town website. First part of the meeting is the open forum. Allows people in the audience to address the board with any topic that I think the board might be concerned of, some town business that might be, appropriate for the board to listen to. We ask that you limit your presentation to 4 minutes or so, strict on that. And also, if there's an item on tonight's agenda, that's subject to the public forum. So it will be brought up at that point. So we ask you also that you introduce yourself by your name and your location. And with that, I'll make a motion to open the open forum for the town of Williamsburg, February 15th, 2024.
I'll second that.
Yes.
Vice Chair Harris.
Yes.
Board member Novak.
Yes.
Board member Houghton.
Yes.
Board member Walpole.
Yes.
Okay.
Lance Manis, I'm an engineer here in town, and I was just wondering if the board or anyone on the board has had occasion to visit this issue of these small storage sheds that are cropping up around town. In so far as you review site plans and anybody proposing anything commercial or otherwise, needs a site plan review. I recently attended several meetings with the zoning board of appeals. And they have determined that storage sheds that are under 144 square feet are not regulated at all by the town.
Yeah.
And therefore they can be placed anywhere, which means they could line them up along the front building line by the road, sidelines, they don't need any setbacks and so forth. And I'm just wondering if the planning board has any occasion to have addressed this issue. I'm trying to encourage the town to review this insofar as amending our ordinances to account for that. Every other town in the area that I work regulates these. They have different regulations when the buildings are small. They don't have to meet the normal setbacks of a house. But in the closest that we found, and the zoning board found the same thing, was that I believe it was Schoharie requires 5 foot. In other words, you can't just put them on a line, but here in Williamsburg, you can put them right on your property line. So I was just curious what the board had.
We've never had an issue to address through the permitting process at the board because of the ordinance and the sizing of these. I think our code enforcement officer, Chris, would be probably most appropriate to at least give some background on it. But there really aren't any setback issues
Well,
available. Right?
yeah, there are limited situations in which the planning board has to do site plan review. So generally, it requires more than the placement of a shed. And so we don't see them. Really, the ZBA sees that issue more than we do. I think if you're looking for a law change, Mr. Manis, I would definitely go to the town board because they would be the ones that would have the authority to.
Well, they pass the ordinance, but I also know that the planning board and mostly the planning board helps draft these ordinances. In other words, they
Yes.
provide input, as well as the county planning also provides input.
That's it.
So I would just hope, I'm just putting a bug in everybody's ear that maybe this is something you might address, until 2 or 3 of them show up on your property.
Okay, that's a good point. It's, no, it isn't the same direction. chat with the town board about it, whether they think this is an issue that they want to tackle. There's probably a million of those, like, sheds around.
What's the letters to the town board?
Yeah, there you go.
I think it should be addressed at some point.
Okay, well, thanks for.
Is there any restriction on quantity of those? Is it one per property or?
No, anything, you could line up your whole line with it, no limit to quantity or space or anything.
Well,
It's the one
there's,
thing in town that's not regulated.
there are a lot coverage requirements. But that would be, as Lynn says, a lunch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else have any comments during the open forum? Okay, since our audience on the internet can't comment, I'll make a motion to close the open forum for the town of Twinsburg, February 15th, 2024.
I'll second that.
Chairman Schmidt.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board Member Novak. Yes. Board Member Howland.
Yes.
Board Member Wilson.
Yes.
Okay, moving to the agenda, the next item is typically sketch plan review, and there are no items in that category. We also have, okay, we have two public hearings scheduled tonight. The first was Edward Putnam. Now that has been canceled. And Edward was notified of that, so that will not be held tonight. The second public hearing is Ralph Thomas. Located.
Jen, I think, in terms of the public hearing, Mr. Putnam asked to come off the agenda. Is that
Yes,
what
yeah.
happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you would want to do is continue the public hearing to the next meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so is anybody here tonight to speak on that? Okay, several people are here tonight to speak
Okay,
on it.
so shall we open the public hearing then?
I think, it's,
Mr. Putnam should be there, I would think.
yes, Mr. Putnam should be here.
Yeah.
Let me assure you, you can submit your comments in writing as well if you can't come to the next meeting as an option, okay?
Are we gonna get a notification on that next week?
The next meeting will be
March 21st.
March 21st. Same place,
We got a
same
letter
time.
for this meeting, but I don't know if I'm gonna get another letter.
You know,
Yeah, we'll send the letter out again.
yeah, unfortunately, this was like a change. I think
This morning.
this morning, so.
So I'm really sorry that you come out on such a bad night. We apologize. And if you want the day of the meeting, you can call Corinne, wave your hand on town hall, and she'll confirm that it's on as well. Okay. We don't want people driving like that.
We have to.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I see. Yeah.
Right, so I'll make the motion. Anything else on that? I'll make a motion to table the Edward Putnam public hearing the subject. So March 21st.
I'll second. Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board Member Novak. Yes. Chairman Schmidt.
Yes.
Board Member Howland.
Yes.
Board Member Wilson.
Yes.
Okay. We apologize for the inconvenience for some of our constituents here, but it's just unavoidable at this point. The next public hearing will be Ralph Thomas, 5140 Western Turnpike. So special use permit to operate a flea market and a farmer's market. Before we open the public hearing, maybe Mr. Thomas or his representative can give the.
Yes, I'm representing Ralph.
Okay, before we open the public hearing, maybe you can give an overview and then we'll get public comment.
Okay, it was presented last month, and issues came up, mostly relating to parking. Much of the area is already, developed in terms of having, hard pan gravel, driveway, and the gravel area behind the buildings. The question was whether he could get enough parking for the 25 and 30 vendors that he was hoping to have there in location. You had asked for parking calculations because there was none developed or shown at the time I had a lot less spaces at the time. This time I did go through the plan and, it's on, well, you've got hard copies, so you can see the calculations on the bottom. Without, and there was a concern of using parking, on the side of the driveway that's on the east side of the property, to create parking in the open field, which is what he was thinking that could be used as well. And rightly so in the summer, because he wants to start, I believe, in May and just run through August, just on 1 day a week, Saturdays. And the concern was that area should be paved in some fashion because of the mud and everything that might be tracked out on the road and so forth. In addition, at that time, we had proposed a driveway off of Depot Road, which would have been gravel, but then that would require a county permit or state permit, because that's a state highway. So to avoid all of that, I figured out, I tried to figure how much parking we could fit within the area that's already gravel. And I've used every available square inch of space on there. The parking calculations show that I come up with 122 parking spaces. And then the question becomes, well, is that sufficient? And someone had raised the issue that, well, a farm stand requires 5 parking spaces. And he wants to have, 24 parking spaces, yeah.
24.
Well, I have to differentiate between the so-called flea market, which is like a store shop, and farm stands. But when you consider diversity, you can't assume that if you're gonna have 5 spaces for every one, that they're gonna be all occupied at the same time. With diversity, nobody's gonna come in there and stay for 8 hours. And so when I did my calculation, I said, well, no, assuming you need 155 and with 150 spaces, I took 20% of that, saying somebody might be there for an hour and a half out of the 8-hour day. Even that I think is excessive. I looked at what the zoning required for shopping centers and for shops, and I did count the spaces down at Hannaford. And for the size of that building, they have 170. And it's almost seemed ridiculous that just for a little thing we have here, that we're gonna need 150. But at any rate, that worked out to a, 1 parking space for every 200 square feet of shopping area. So again, using that kind of analysis, allowing for the 17 spaces for the diner, which is as shown to be more than adequate in terms of average daily use, and also allowing spaces for the antique center there. And calculating the rest, I came up with what was required, which I believe can't be here, but 120, and I gave 122 spaces. So I think parking is more than adequate. I doubt it'll ever get fully filled to that extent. It'll be marked out with cones and signage to show how the people should line up and park. And as well, we will have dumpsters back by the flea market and farm stand, as well as porta potties to take care of the. If necessary, he can even bring in. He probably will have water, for jugs and things like that. When people get it, they can always go to the diner. Again, this is all under the same ownership. And they will, yeah, that's true. Yeah, in the back in the run corner there, but by the flea market there, I show a food truck. He does operate one of these drive food trucks there, so they'll get water and soda and things of that sort. But other than that, I think we've answered the questions that were brought up at the last meeting.
And I just had a question looking at the revised plan. I see that there are, you've indicated where trash will be, but I was just wondering, are those the dumpsters? And if they are the dumpsters, will they be basic trash receptacles?
Yes, those are just up at the rear, by the flea market there, not by the farm stand. Farm stand is just, large, garbage containers. And
Okay, okay.
And next to the, yeah, I thought I had a logo there.
You do.
Yeah,
Thank you. I didn't see that.
yeah,
Thank you.
One is a porta potty and the other's a
General.
general, trash. Keep it clean. It'll be cleaned up every Saturday. He plans, I think he said, in operations at like 3. And so that gives him a couple of hours to clean up and empty the space out for the Sundays and the rest of the week.
Will the porta potties be actually physically removed at the end of the
Yes,
weekend? They
yes.
won't be a permanent fixture.
There won't be a permanent fixture, no, no. Yeah, he's got a contract there for the, whatever.
And the same with the trash, you're gonna have.
Yeah, he will clean all of that, that's his intention, yeah. So on Sunday, you wouldn't know anybody been there.
Yeah.
We should,
Yeah.
we make a motion to open the,
Yeah, that's the description of the project, yeah, now. Mike,
I make a motion to open the public hearing for the Ralph Thomas, special use permit.
I'll second.
Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt.
Yes.
Board Member Novak.
Yes.
Board Member Howard.
Yes.
okay, so if there's anyone in the audience that has any comments or questions on this that they'd like the board to hear, now's your opportunity. Everybody's hand is not up, so I'm assuming that no one has any comments to the board to air on. So I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for the Ralph Thomas special use permit.
I'll second.
Chairman Schmidt.
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board Member Novak.
Yes.
Board Member Howard.
Yes.
Now, have we received any written comments on this at all?
Did we have any other, besides parking? That was one thing we had.
County planning replied that they had recommended approval, right, Corinne? Yes.
No other highway.
I think we were talking about this, the setback of the farm stands, which I think that seems to be addressed by the 20-foot setback.
These are all existing curb cuts.
Yep.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
those used to be her tax.
And I think they addressed our concerns with the parking on Depot Road.
Yeah.
What do we do for it for secret?
We determined it was an unlisted action.
Okay.
So as lead agency, just given the nature of the project, there were no particular approvals needed, required. There's no disturbance or earthwork occurring. The area is located within an area that has the potential for northern long effect, but there is no tree clearing, so that is no concern. So the project certainly will not have any impacts that could be considered moderate or large. So I think certainly we can issue a negative declaration for this special use permit. So I can just make that statement if anyone has any questions. If not, I'll go ahead. The town of Duanesburg Planning Board has established itself as lead agency for seeker and has determined that the project will have no significant adverse environmental impacts in accordance with Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law, and issues a negative declaration for the special use permit requested by Ralph Thomas, and I will make that determination.
I'll second.
Board Member Novak.
Yes.
Board Member Howard.
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt. Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
And Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes. I'm just reading the notes from last time. We did say DOT, DPW, and Mr. Feeney. You mentioned Mr. Feeney, but why do we want DPW?
It was the Depot Road when they were doing the road
Okay.
off of that.
Okay.
And they've abandoned that, so they're just going with the two main and the side,
Yep.
which already exist.
I did get some down to them, though they didn't come.
Okay.
Yeah, Corinne would have done that before we had this, so.
Okay.
I think you wanna impose specific conditions on the special use permit, and that's what I would focus on, you know.
Yeah, we would recommend it as a condition of permits that the garbage removal and the porta potties.
Removed, yeah.
Moved within.
24 hours.
48 hours or 24 hours.
Yeah.
There's the board things on that. Yeah, what's it, operated on Saturdays?
Just Saturdays only, right?
48 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so-
Well, if I could raise a question, I know it's close to public hearing, but, he may like, well, the garbage will be removed, but I'm just wondering, like, for the porta potties, if he's gonna use them for a couple of weeks at a time, is it possible that just in the rear, somewhere in the back, he could just line them up and store them there? That wouldn't be an objection, would it?
There's trucks back there
Yeah.
occasionally, so you have to be careful nobody runs
Oh,
into.
yeah, no, but well, there's that space where the old florist shop used to be in the back there. The trucks don't typically park in that area there. They normally park in that area where I'm showing the flea market.
I think the main thing is just so that there's not porta potties, you know.
Oh, no, no,
typically
no, that's it,
floating
no.
out in the
I
middle of the
definitely
parking lot.
explain it, yeah.
And that, you know, if they're serviced, you
Mhm.
know, then storing an empty porta john for
Yes.
a week
Yeah.
is not gonna be a problem.
Okay.
And same with the garbage, you know, same
Oh, no,
concept.
you gotta get rid
And
of
then
it.
get rid of that for your unit costs.
So what we can do is say that they have to be serviced within 48 hours, and then they can be.
Just, yeah,
Yeah.
stores, it's not all randomly placed
Yeah,
like they are
yeah, nobody
now.
wants to drive through
They
there.
just put them in the spot and just move them back, yeah, on Saturday.
All right.
But you could all.
Oh, yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, locked also.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Somebody's
No, but it's just, it comes in a
They're
pack of
expensive.
It's just, you know, kids.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I don't-
Be surprised.
Right.
Yeah.
They,
And we do
What we have to deal with.
And then Chris, can take a look at the store.
Yeah.
we wanna, I think we.
Saturday only.
Saturday, yes.
And you also want to limit the time of year.
Last,
Yeah.
what is the time of year that he wants the
May through August,
May, through August 31st, May
Yes.
1st, to August 31st?
end of August, yeah. I think you have the letter, don't you, Corinne?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, we do one operation plan we received references the first Saturday in May and the last Saturday in October.
Which that would probably make more sense, because August,
Two
I mean,
seems
it's
early.
too early, yeah.
To September, you said?
Last Saturday in October.
All right, May 1 to October 30.
What do they do with the porta potty down there at the Dollar General? They have one outside all the time.
That's fancy for
That one, they
Can you have
Yeah, you
those?
can apply it. You couldn't afford one of those.
No, okay.
Okay,
Or later, the pay for that.
I don't know, 20 fruits and
no,
vegetables.
no continuous storage of stalls on.
No, from.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, Josh, you had raised a very good point last time with regard to the tents and that they're properly weighted, and they did mention that in their operations plan, but I wanted to add that as a condition.
Yeah, I think that has to do with, I don't know what code it is, but I think that's a code requirement. Just so he's aware of it, that the, you know, those tents all have an anchoring requirement. I think that's
Right,
maybe,
right.
I don't know if it's fire code or whatnot, but. Yeah, the vendor is gonna have the onus to do it, but he needs to make sure that that's part of it.
Right, yeah, I'm not sure what he mentioned that, I think.
I'm not sure what you have to be like, that's the law. The state.
Well, they can be weighted by like, you know, yeah, sandbags or cement block or something, or they can be a driven stake, but it has to meet, you know, wind load and, you know, uplift. I think the food truck, is he pretty comfortable that's the exact location it's gonna be?
Yes, that's what he put on his original plan, I believe he had that. Pretty much followed his original sketch, what he wanted.
So I think we should condition that that's where it has to go, so it doesn't creep closer to the property boundary. So we don't get, you know, again, the chicken barbecue truck or something blowing grease or smoke onto the neighboring parcel.
Can we say operations according to the?
Yeah, like that's just where it has to
We
go.
could just say food truck is cited on, shown on site. And so let me go through the list. We got garbage removal and porta potty service within 48 hours. And okay to store clean porta potties in the back of the parking lot. Saturday only, May 1st to October 31st. No permanent stalls or continuous storage of stalls or tables. Tents and awnings properly weighted and anchored, and food truck is shown on the site plan. Corinne, you want my list? Or did you get them all?
This will all be on the formal permit
Yeah,
petition.
yeah. Now you have any objections to any of that?
I don't know, I can't.
I'd like to go through these one by one. So that we know.
Yeah.
Next month, you're gonna come and say, you never told me that.
I didn't really.
Well, listen,
Just come to a meeting, you know what I mean?
well, understand this, the whole area and everything, this is owned by Lou Patino.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, everything.
yeah, chief, and he does, you know, he's given, Ralph the permission to go ahead and proceed with these proceedings. But he's concerned about his own.
Yeah, nice thing for the town.
So,
I mean, it's some-
everybody I spoke to, they're really looking forward to
Yeah.
the farmers markets. They do a great job out in Scary.
Yeah,
When they have them, I mean, having something like that in town just for the Saturday should be nice.
it'd be nice. Okay.
So we can make a motion to approve that, right?
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything else? Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the special use permit for Thomas Samuelson. I read the conditions again. It's funny conditions that we just discussed, that we triggered quite a few minutes. I'm sorry. I'll start over again, forget that. I'm gonna make a motion to approve the special use permit for Rolf Thomas. Subject to the conditions that were just read by Teresa. And then also to the
Secret.
negative declaration. I think that's it.
I can second that.
Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Board Member Evans.
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt.
Yes.
Board Member Novak.
Yes.
Board Member Walpole.
Yes.
Okay.
I did first, we'll be down there.
You got your,
Thank you.
good, nice job, and that'll, be a nice benefit for the town.
Now we'll move on. to Thomas.
Okay, old business now, we have, Thomas Samuelson, special use permit to convert an existing residential building back to a family building, is. This something?
Yeah, I was hoping Chris would be here.
Yeah, this is the project that we've had, this is the one, right on the corner, right? He had some
Yeah.
issues with the parking,
Yes.
and I know Chris has been involved in this. I don't know, we dealt with you, you're the first time you've been here in New York.
Thomas Samuelson.
Oh, okay. Your representative was.
Oh, Sean Reba, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was the contractor. I teach in Houston sometimes.
Oh, okay, yeah, you looked like you aged.
Yeah, I'm getting old.
No, that's good. But anyhow, we had some issues with parking.
Yes.
Encroachment on Route 7, not being set back up, in the right of way of Route 7, and can you tell the board how you address that?
Well, this drawing, Lance made this. And the rule is you have to have 20 feet for each vehicle, and you gotta have 4 vehicles if you have a 2-fence.
Yeah.
I actually parked my truck alongside here and actually put the tailgate right at about 8.5 feet from here. Which is what the right of way is. It's 33 feet from the center line, which is down here somewhere. 33 feet up. And I backed down and I was still 3 feet from the white lines. So I was wanting to talk to Chris, or if he was here, I would like this parking area to be moved 5 feet more. I'd still have to build a wall and all that. So that would be fine. It'd just be less of a wall, not as tall of a wall, which I think would probably be better than this wall here. But that's why I wanted to talk to Chris, if I could move this out 5 feet. It still isn't in the right of way of Route 7. It's still 3 or 4 feet from Route 7's right of way, which is 33 feet off the center line. So, and I could easily back out and still not be on the white line within 3 feet of the white line, even if I'm 8.5 feet from this building, which is the 33 feet from the center. I can back down and not be on the white line.
So you can back around the front of the house, not be on the road, and then pull out forward.
Yeah, yes, I can back in here and go out forward.
That was.
That would make my wall a lot simpler.
Well, I mean, that does bring up a question, and Lance, maybe your turning radius is on there, they're showing.
That's showing starting from the end of the building at the
Yep.
40-foot mark. That's assuming we go back 40 feet. So that the 20-foot parking space ends right at the front of the building,
Sure.
without taking off the corner of the building. That's the tightest radius there.
You
turning.
Yeah, you do.
The white line on the road is about here.
Well, yeah, it's hard on the view to see it. On the map, you can see that.
Yeah.
You can see the white line clearly, I think.
So the one that's going,
Yeah, the backing out now would occur on the shoulder.
Yeah.
of the road, because the property line is 16 feet from the building.
Yep.
Okay.
Going west, but the one going east is actually utilizing the town parcel.
Well, you wouldn't be using the town parcel, I don't know.
Well, your turning radius is shown going across.
Well, I show it going both ways, yeah.
Yeah, so the one going east, you're utilizing the town parcel for the turning. radius.
Oh, yes, well, is that, I'm not,
Yes, that's right.
that could be the town's property line too, where the fence is there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So it's still the shoulder of the road.
yeah, I'm just,
I wasn't proposing to go into I know you can see it there on the map, there's an area that's gravelled.
Yeah.
That's on the town parcel.
Yeah.
But my turning radius does not include that, that's too tight, you couldn't get onto that by backing out.
okay, so your radius is.
Radius is going right onto the shoulder of the road.
So in the right of way.
Yeah, it's in the right of way, but it's often, it doesn't encroach on either travel lane. And of course, if you're turning out straight, if you do back into the park, it's been much easier. Because then you're coming out, you're turning right on the road and just watch the traffic.
So are these really retaining walls, Lance? Like,
Yes.
And
Do you have a detail for what that looks like?
I don't, he's got a fellow that's a bit, it's like a segmented retaining wall.
Well,
Could be these ones with the block and the geotextile
Yeah.
fabric that go back.
I think we would at least wanna see what that looks, what the heights are, because, I mean, you know. If it's going back that far, it's gonna be pretty tall.
Well, I think, yeah, when I surveyed it and got the elevations there. It's probably gonna, on the backside without changing, because there's a sewer pipe there. And the door that goes into the basement, it came out to what, about 4.5 feet, something like that? In other words, that's the height you'd see, yeah, right.
so I'm gonna need a structure. But I can get these plans on that.
There's a right there.
Okay.
Well, at this point, I'm not involved with designing that.
Oh, but what I'm saying.
He's spoken to somebody that builds these retaining walls.
Yes, but yes, so that would,
So
that would need to
you
be-
need that.
it would need to be designed, because yes.
Hmm.
Okay.
Because there's, well, Lance is mentioning, there is a geotextile fabric. That ties into the retaining wall, which is underneath the roadway, and that will hold the retaining wall from. And that's where you see them, where they're segmented blocks and they're failing. Most times they can probably put in a geotextile fabric that ties it back.
or you put a lag thing in.
That's what it's like, and
Yeah.
go back into the ground. You do it as you fill.
Yeah, like depending on how it's designed, but every so many courses, there's another layer of it.
Every 2 or 3 courses you go.
Probably going to be 2 or 3 courses if I didn't. Don't have on that.
It depends on the system that you're using, there's different ones.
Do you have any idea what the height of that wall's gonna be about?
On the Route 20 side, I'm thinking it would probably be about 4.5 feet.
Well, I guess when you talk to whoever you're having come up with that I think
Yeah.
that, you know, we just wanna see what that actually is.
If
Cause that's a full height door, or how high is the door on the basement?
it's a full door now.
Regular man door.
Yeah,
But that's not something we have to see, go to Chris, right?
no, but I mean, so we have an idea of how high that retaining wall is, I mean, from the, I don't know, it would be interesting to know, especially because it's gonna basically back the whole town property on the one side. And then Route 20 on the down.
Yeah, I think you just wanna make sure that if they're using the system that Chris is reviewing.
We would want to put a condition in special use permit, so it's very clear.
Do you have a hard copy? I think the elevation difference from the front of the building to the Route 20 side is only 5, let's see. I've got 2 quick copies.
Depends on his, depends on.
Yeah, it's about 6 feet.
So. If he's at 4 feet.
It is at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Just at the bottom of the basement.
Right.
That's on the side.
It takes-
Full meaning 7 feet,
I think it's 7 or more, maybe.
8 feet,
Yeah, that's where.
7.5.
They
It has a door, but then it kind of slopes up. into-
Yeah.
This is like the middle line before you have a railing. Like
But if they could move it
off the ground.
5 feet more, that would be only a couple feet.
So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we got the condition at that. Yeah. So I think we're talking about is depending on the height of elevation, it's out there, it might require you to put, guardrail fencing just.
on top.
Because it's a leading edge.
Yes, anything over 30 inches height above grade requires a guardrail.
Yeah.
You're right, it's cold.
Okay, well, we got the man of the hour here right now. This is Chris Barlow, he's our code enforcement officer, and Chris, we're talking about, not the drug. Yeah. We're talking about Samuelson, Samuelson. You know, Lance has gone through and done some radius calculations. You got out in the field a lot of those. Maybe you can update some, your observations.
So basically, I went there and helped him kind of measure out a little bit what he needed. They haven't done anything yet that I'm aware of. But he only had, I think, like 20-some feet from the corner. So we put it back to 40 feet from the corner, from the front corner, and we measured out 20 feet from the house. Told me he's gonna need to put some kind of retaining wall there because he's bringing in gravel, so the gravel is still under the town property. So we have something there, which he said he was gonna do, so. That's pretty much where we're at, I think.
But my question is, could I not move it like 5 feet more this way toward Route 7? I could still easily back out and not be on the road. I put it at 8.5 feet, which is the 33 feet from the center line, and backed down and still was 3 feet from the white line. So,
Yeah, but where that yellow mark was in the driveway, there wasn't much room from that yellow mark to the house though. Where he showed me, your guy showed me a yellow spray painted dot. He said that's
33 feet from the
33
center line.
feet from the center line.
Well, I just measured it
So-
this morning.
It just didn't look like what
And it's 8.5 feet. The center line is 8.5 feet from here. From the building. The right of way. 33 feet from the center line of the road is 8.5 feet from here. Roughly a half inch.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that is the outside, if the people that are parking in the farthest line away from the house back up, they've got to back around those cars. I don't know if there's enough room. That was the issue, being enough room for them to back around those cars. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't try to do that. I took my truck,
Right.
which is 19 feet long, and I backed out after being at the center line, which is 8.5
Right.
feet back from here, and I still was 3 feet from the
Right.
white.
I think the concern is if you come out that far, now that outside person has to back around those cars. And I don't know if there's enough room, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It might be it might get a little dangerous is my
I'd
point,
have to test that.
you know what I mean?
Didn't test that.
So,
Just trying to not make such a big
No, I-
culvert retaining wall.
I get it.
That would be weaker. I still have to do the retaining wall. I
Right.
still have to do between the town. By the way, the town fence and that breaker box is only 26 feet from the center.
The rentals only can have minis or Volkswagens. That's it.
Does the board have enough information to schedule a public hearing on this? This is a special use permit, right? It's-
Yes.
I would say that. Parking issues. What I would suggest is that you continue to work with Chris in this interim period. We'll schedule a public hearing, depending on what we're hearing and what can happen between you guys
Okay,
to design this thing correctly.
yeah, it sounds like we need a retaining wall design.
Yeah, you just gotta show it on plan, some elevation shots and cross section.
Yes, and I would just caution and make sure that, you know, when Lance looks, you know, if you do move the parking. You know, assume there's gonna be a car parked at the town spot. You know, I don't think you can assume that you can use that area completely
Yeah.
for,
Backing up that way.
yeah, for your parking.
Right.
So, or for your turning radius. Parking obviously is gonna be on your parcel, but So I think keep that, because right now it's flipping that corner, closer than what a vehicle would have to park to get off of the, the right of way on the town parts.
So I think we can make a motion for the public hearing. So I'll make a motion to hold the public hearing, for the Thomas Samuelson special use permit on March 21st.
So that,
So member Novak? Yes. So member Hutton?
yes.
Chairman Schmidt?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Grant?
Yes.
Or member Walpole?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll hopefully work this thing out. So that it drives, we'll do some public comment if there is any, and maybe determination subsequent to the. Not rocket science, eh?
No. I'm a PE, I can make it myself.
There you go.
There you go.
I seldom use it.
Okay, all right. Moving forward. Next item under old business is Kruger Energy. Which proposes a special use permit on 909 Alexander Road. Someone from Kruger that wants to.
Yeah. I'm thinking to myself, like, my company was involved in reviews of some of this, so I'm not gonna be involved. I'm setting away from parts of this.
Oh, yeah.
I use it.
I was wondering how they were from, how I remember they did.
But the environmental stuff, that's all.
Okay, why don't you give us a little update? We know that you went before the town board.
Yeah,
You got some
Dominic
information
Stefan,
for us on that?
Dominic Stefan, I'm with Kruger, senior project developer. Been here before, we were at the zoning board last month, 2 months ago. Dominic Farico is our consultant, and he'll go through the updated request.
So we've, as you know, I see everybody has in front of me, we have, multiple reports. Visual, glare studies, environmental. There's, visual simulations of the landscaping, screening. One of the things we did, I guess I'm standing. I don't know how to. I have one actually.
Right here.
Yeah, I'll sit here. So can you put the other one up, the other, just this one? No, the other one. So what we did, this is, it's shining. As in that. Does it shine on the screen? Is yours like a special one?
Yeah. Oh. We get solar panels, so this one.
But I can see. Maybe it's a battery. So, what we did is, there's a 200-foot setback from the solar panels. So based on these lots that are down here that Mr. Rhodes also owns. What we're doing is we're also asking for a lot line adjustment, so basically shifting this line about 148 feet, I think it is. Adjusting the size of this lot, so this would be the lot line adjustment, and then the new lots would be reduced in area, but still meet all the same zoning codes, so they're still conformed lots. And there's
But they would not be participating any longer.
correct, no more participating, so it created, so this will become the release area would be around this area here now, so. It created a better area for lease and between the Kruger and Rhodes as far as the area. So this dashed line you see here is the 200-foot setback. The new 200-foot setback. It didn't change along here. It just changed along this side, so it's from this line out. And then that's the setback line for the residential homes, these here. We still have the frontage along here and the 60-foot right of way, which we're existing to use. The other thing I wanted to point out, this is the existing gravel road that exists now, which we are pretty much using entirely. Thank you, Patel.
No, yeah, so again, you can see there's the lot line, the new lot line. This is the fence line around here, solar panels, driveway in. It pretty much matches exactly to the road. The road that's there is about 20 to 24 feet, give or take. There's a little bit of adjustment in here. But as you can see, we're gonna be eliminating a lot of the road and paved area as well, so we're really reducing the amount of gravel road that's there now. This is in here, I can't see it really well, that's the landscape buffer that's been proposed by EDP as a landscape architect. We did provide some visuals on that. The physical quantities have not been selected yet. We wanted that really to be a suggestion from the board to make sure this was exactly where we wanted it, but based on elevation and the closeness to they're about 20 feet off the fence line. Any view from down through here is, we're not gonna see any of the panels. This is a very higher in elevation, so really looking up from this point. Even from these homes here, it would be very difficult to see the panels with the height of the trees, because the panels are only, excuse me, are only about 12 feet high at the top of the peak or the pitch. So the tree line at growth will be 15 plus probably. Again, this is the 200-foot setback line, so all the panels fall within that setback line. Our driveway coming in. And that's pretty much, besides that, nothing has really changed on the property as far as the development area goes, except for the property line. Everything else has remained the same. We also did provide a summary of a stormwater report of what we're proposing or not proposing, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. Again, the studies, the environmental studies, most of them are by code, what's required. Kruger wanted to present as much information as possible, knowing it will be reviewed, but didn't wanna, we had the time to do it, so we got them all done. I believe that. Do you have anything else to add? No, we just try to be diligent about what the Dwaynesburg Solar Code reads, and try to make sure that we touch each of those items.
So the procedure here is that it says at the earliest possible date in the project planning process, they're supposed to meet with you, Chris. I know they had a pre-submission conference. And then it says upon receipt of an application, the town will mail a notice of the proposed project to all owners of property within 1,000 feet of the project boundaries. Did we do that yet, or we were waiting for the information to come in? Okay. So, and did we have a conversation about who the town was gonna hire as the TD to review this yet?
No.
Okay, so those are two things that we need to do if we feel there's enough information here at town hall for people to review. We don't want to wait too long before we send out that notice.
Yeah, we haven't gotten estimates from anybody yet for this one.
Okay, so,
Cause I think that's a condition that before we review any further, that account needs to be set up.
oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah, we had it on hold until the zoning board of appeals issued their interpretation, and now, we're just starting review. So, and is there an application for subdivision in here that changes all those lots?
It's a lot line adjustment, the application for lot line adjustment. We're not doing a subdivision, just adjusting the lot line. I went through that with Chris, that's what you thought was the best. We're not
Yeah,
doing a
but
subdivision, we're
We're
not,
adjusting like how many lots?
just 3 lots.
Well, three.
3, well, that's a little one down here, but there's these 3, well, if you count this lot, I guess there's 4 lots, yeah. But we're adjusting one line.
So previously, we did one over in Brandon's Corners where I put it as a minor subdivision. I was told it was a lot line. There's 2 that were, but since you're moving that whole line, it went to a lot line adjustment. So if I'm, if I'm wrong,
I would never say you're wrong.
I'm okay with it.
I mean, we're not creating any tax map number, any new lot number, new ownership. It's just adjusting a line, it just affects four parcels, I guess, but yes.
let's just think about that. I wasn't aware that they were,
Because it was one whole line that was moving.
Yeah.
I mean, I did ask Dale about it and he was like. They're probably gonna refer to you. Well, that told me it was a lot line adjustment.
okay. I think it's too many because it affects too many lots.
Yeah,
It's more than two,
that's one of those things that I don't totally understand,
Yeah.
the whole lot line.
but either way, it's not a big deal. You gotta have a public.
Yeah, however-
hearing, so it doesn't really matter. I would put it in as an application for subdivision change.
I did the minor subdivision,
You did.
special use, and I didn't do a major because it's four lot extinguisher. But this has been subdivided before too,
Right.
but we're not creating another lot out of the subdivision.
No, I
So, yeah, whatever we have to do, I mean, this is what we,
Yeah.
So I have a question, and you guys are probably aware of this. Charlie's wants to be on the next meeting because he wants to take this, he wants to create a lot
down
right
there,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, that
You want-
was the question, what is that in a
That's
bigger
not on-
parcel, because if you're not showing an access route or anything there. It didn't make sense, but
Well,
now it
the-
does,
Right, but that was all part of the main,
the main
The
line,
main one?
yeah.
but he was in the office yesterday, he wants to draw a line. Roughly
Right
from
there,
about
from
right
there to that
here
corner.
to that point,
It's about 3 acres, correct?
and make
So-
that bottom, so should he do?
You should
do
do that
both.
all at the same time.
Well, if the question comes to our attention, what I brought, the road frontage that's required for the property. Is 125 feet. If we cut this out from our property,
Yeah,
then we have 60
It's a
feet,
hundred,
that's
is
it.
it 60 foot?
60.
Yeah, 60 feet,
60 feet is road frontage.
It
it's,
was 125.
No,
this is R2,
Yes.
what's R2?
it's R2,
I think it's 60 feet.
pretty sure it's 60 feet.
Okay, well.
Unless there's something in the solar law and.
Yeah, that's
a
what I'm
different-
looking.
It's on the table right there, I just can't see the table. I have it going, it's like-
Oh,
It should-
I don't know. 60 feet in R2, but it might be-
It's,
Yeah.
lot width, actually, it's 200 feet for so, well, that's the wrong one. It was just-
I'm not seeing a frontage requirement that's special.
I think it's 60 feet in R2.
In the zoning, I'm pretty sure it's 60 feet.
Yeah,
Okay,
Actually, yeah, it's definitely 60 feet because.
well, that would be the only objection, I guess, Kruger was
Yeah.
having with it, if they don't care if they cut that out, 'cause it's not really part of their lease
And
area.
as it
anyway.
No, see, so that's why that is 60 feet now.
Yeah.
Because that's what he needed in order to get back here. You understand? That's why that's a keyhole lot and that's 60 foot. So you're fine then.
Okay,
You don't need this down here.
It's subject to the lease as we sit today, so that a discussion will have to take place.
Well, it's,
Well, my only question is, if he's gonna break that off anyway,
now it is a subdivision.
why?
that is,
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
it's
right.
officially-
and it's a major, because it's the fifth or sixth.
Well, this was the whole lot was this before,
Yeah.
he cut a line in that,
Yeah,
he created two lots
Again.
out of one lot before.
yeah,
Right. He's already cut it 5 times already, yes.
just pilot is a major subdivision.
Okay,
Okay.
if we do that or either way, if that happens or not.
Just keep it simple.
And then
so
obviously-
Major is 2 or more, or more than 2.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, then we'll do that.
so then obviously where that line ends up, you want to be very aware of your setbacks and.
Yes, I've already gone through this with them, sending it there, this line right here. That would be about 210 feet from this line here, so we would still meet that requirement.
And we don't necessarily care that those lots are never gonna
Yeah.
take 450 feet. Because this is gonna pre-exist. In here,
450 feet of what?
there's a setback of 450 feet from the.
From the, if you put that up, like the color one up. I have it on here. Whoop. The, yeah, those circular lines are 400 feet from existing dwellings.
Yeah, I was just more mentioning, just asking if we had any concerns about the future development lots. Wouldn't make it.
They're gonna walk into it
It's
going,
pre-existing, yeah.
You mean that they can't build on them or that they're?
No, I mean, they
Right,
could,
okay.
they're just. And you have more than 450 feet from the existing house.
That's why we need it to be a major subdivision.
Yeah, there's 400. I mean, that's 200 feet there then, so.
I'm talking about the one down.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
none of,
Cause I don't know where that.
all the existing houses are greater than, and that's that, the aerial I did, that's what I did that for, to show that arc and how
Okay.
far away, and they're all far from the solar panels. And I believe it's from the solar panel, not from the property.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we're well.
yeah, and
over
as
far.
the fence doesn't count. I think.
Yes, I think it's, yeah, everything is relative to the actual panel.
Panels and, yeah, and, inverters and.
Yeah, but I did provide that information to the town, I did.
On this subdivision map, when you guys do it, you should specify the line behind which the house can't be built. That should be in the deed, so people know, okay?
Well, we discussed that back in the beginning, remember about if somebody come in and want to build on this lot here, are they gonna be subjected to, do they have to build 400 feet away from the panel? Or is it just that they're, because
That's
we
my
had that little
question.
discussion, we weren't really sure what was.
Because though, there might not be a lot of buildable space left on those narrow ones in the front. If they have to keep 450 feet back, but like you just said, the panels are there, in theory.
Yeah, I think that 450 feet is that way. We have an existing residence, we're building a new solar field and then
Yeah.
encroaching on
It
existing
exists,
residence.
yeah.
Well, I see the point of that, but also it is kind of,
You don't have an unbuildable lot.
yeah.
I mean, essentially, yeah, I mean, they're gonna be, cause if that line is 200 feet, you're gonna be halfway into what's the remaining buildable space. Easily,
Yeah, there'd still be about 100 feet or so.
but not necessarily from the setback.
That's the setback line right there.
Yeah.
This acre is like 5.5 acres.
Yeah,
So you've got the building envelope on.
Yes,
the
that's what that dash line is, the building
Right.
envelope, yes.
Okay, yeah, I think we wanna know that it's capable of being built on and meet that setback.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, another buffer line just to show what's left on that.
Yeah. For the houses.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
yeah, people complain about.
Well, and cause you're doing a subdivision, you're gonna have to know where the houses and septics and stuff would go on those lots. You know, they don't have to go exactly there, but that they can meet that.
And there's no limitation on where you put the septic in relation to
The-
solar.
So speaking of that now, when this was approved before, as a subdivision before, they did show the lots and the septic. I think they did all the work. I think
Yeah.
ABP did it.
Oh, yeah,
Would we, because we are asking it for a subdivision now, are we gonna have to do, verify the soil testing and stuff? Or are we gonna just assume that it was already approved? and
You're
it's good?
seeking a modification of an existing septic.
Right.
So
Won't need to do.
we don't expect the soils will have changed. I guess it's.
All 3 inches.
I don't know, I just put the restoration training today, so yeah.
So I guess maybe make a motion that the notices go out. And that you seek proposals by engineering firms qualified to look at solar projects.
Let's make a motion to send out the Kruger Energy notices to was that 1,000 feet? Property owners within 1,000 feet. And then seek proposals for a town designated engineer to review the Kruger Energy application.
I'll second.
Member Hammond,
Yes.
Board Member Novak,
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Harris.
Yes.
One follow-up, so the notices are we doing that or is it town?
I'll take care of it.
Okay, I don't need to like provide the names or anything like that, for okay? Have anything else? All right.
Good.
Thank you. Thanks for that. I think my.
She's already got them ready. She's just waiting for the ones in the mail now.
Wow. Will you give us, and you're gonna get an extra number for the TG too?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
set that to 3, I think, right?
Please.
No, it's definitely this. 4.
Yeah, you'll have to check and make sure that none of ours are working for them. I don't think so, but they've got quite a few people or engineering firms.
All right, that's fine. Okay, the next item is Parkview, that Tycoon Road by LLC. It's a special use permit, basic subdivision, in the town of Waynesburg. Parkview here. Yeah, we're kind of interested in the project, so let's see what you got. Talked to you several months ago, I think.
Yes, back in August.
Yes.
We were here back in August.
They teased them for 6 months.
Yeah.
We had to get some, we had to make sure this what we're presenting actually was something that was gonna be more real, so we found some reports, we've done some testing. We sent it out to the fire department, I haven't heard anything back.
Yeah.
But so we were last in here in front of the back in August. My name's Brian McGowan, landscape architect with Environmental Design Partnership. We're here tonight to hopefully move forward with the proposed subdivision for the residential lots in the back. Right there. And we're trying to begin seeking a special use permit, hopefully, because all the proposed uses that we have would require a special use permit. The site's in the C2 manufacturing district. So again, this concept is what full build out would look like. Nothing is really set in stone. You know, I mean, that's gonna be maximum what we can do. We're hoping, you know, once we really start marketing the thing to see what who can come. The plan shows up to 11 subdivided lots. With a mixture of office and retail along Route 20. And flex space or warehouse behind it and residential towards the southwest corner down there where the subdivision. Where we're trying to seek the first part of the subdivision anyways. One existing warehouse will remain right there. The others would be demolished. You can kind of see the outline of it. The common access point for Route 20 connecting to Gage Road. So that would be that right there. The existing entrance. After talking with a traffic engineer from Creighton Manning, he said we're gonna have to move this existing entrance as far away from Gage Road as we can, because once you apply for the DOT permit, they're gonna have to pretty much require something like that to get it away from that, so there's 2 close. The driveways for residential lots. We show driveways for residential lots, we show alternative access for these commercial buildings down here. Each site would have its own parking and landscaping, obviously throughout. Private wells and septics. The traffic report generally stated that we did a site distance and trip gen. The traffic report generally stated that we meet all the safety guidelines for the site distances along Route 20. The site distances along the residential driveways were good, except for the northernmost driveway looking right. I guess it was not quite the distance that they wanted, but the report determined it wasn't critically limited, so they didn't think any mitigation would be required. Don't further block it, basically. The commercial on Gage Road, we determined really can't be for trucks, and I know that road is tiny anyway, so they're probably better anyways. So the access points probably would be for just emergency vehicles only. Possibly passenger cars, I don't know yet. See what you guys think. Both entrances from Route 20 obviously require the DOT permit. We did do a well report. We did 3 locations. I think one was here, and I think there was one back there. We didn't find any issues with that, and talking with the Hans Van Vliet who did that report, they didn't think there'd be any issues with putting wells pretty much anywhere on the site, so. We are in the process of obtaining Army Corps wetland disturbance permits for the minor crossings that we have right there. There's 4 of them. We don't expect any issues with that either because it's under a tenth of an acre. There's not much of a crossing. Also received archaeology, SHPO no impact letters, DC endangered species letters, which we also forwarded to the town for everybody to look at. If you could just turn it to the subdivision, the next one. Yeah, so this is the subdivision that we're asking for. Here's the overall property, and here's the 2 properties right now. The residential, the 2 lots combined are about 7.5 acres. This would leave for the rest of the property about just under 82 acres. Each lot, we're thinking probably will have like a 2-family house on it. And then that's where we come to. That's some of it.
Sounds like you're making progress.
We're trying.
Hey, go back to the previous one. I noticed
Yeah.
I don't like green shaded, especially in the corner by the house. Is that wetland? You wouldn't-
That's wetland,
That's like green by the.
right there. Yeah, that's all wetland. You can see them throughout, scattered throughout. Yeah,
And that's been surveyed or is that? from-
that has been flagged and surveyed.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Nothing delineated.
So.
Yeah, we did get a comment letter we want to give you. We haven't had a chance really to investigate it. It's a, I don't know how to describe it. I think it's like a condition of the zone change that Mr. Lucarelli got originally for the change of zone to GB. Now, all our zones are different now. This was back in the 1980s, but
So when was that?
I was unfortunately in college.
I won't tell you where I was.
Yeah. But it just, in terms of buffer, if you could be a little sensitive to that, because it looks like you're pretty much already making that, so just take a look at that. You know, I'm not saying that it still holds, I'm just saying, I want to make you aware of it, so you can, you know, be sensitive to the fact that the people that live back there have probably been told.
Where do they live?
It's,
Up in here?
Albert Road on either side of it.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah, I
basically-
mean, our intent is to try to keep as many trees in between them and us as possible, so.
yeah, and it's probably only an issue with the back one,
Yeah, the
Right.
cul-de-sac, off
yeah.
the end of that cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And it
The
looks
400 foot,
You got limited,
Oh,
you
back
can't
here,
move
probably.
much, could
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
maybe you can enhance the buffer or do something.
right, yeah.
You know.
Yep. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to go meet with them, and see what they really
If
want.
we could,
Yeah,
that would be.
that's fine.
Does the letter say something about a promise that was made by that time?
No.
wasn't,
It wasn't a promise, it was a resolution in the 80s by the town board when they rezoned it to GB. And so as I sit here, I can't tell you that still is binding because we've changed the zoning at least twice since then, okay? But apparently the people that live there have not forgotten. So it's just, I want to make him aware of it, so. Well, and actually, Josh should take credit. He saw that. I didn't even see that, so.
I'm surprised Lance didn't want to stay to bring it up.
That's where he lives on that road.
Yeah,
I think he's the only one that's been there that long.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty
Yeah, it was
sure.
the gentleman that was sitting right up front there. That's the guy to talk to.
You ran away.
I think the snow.
Yeah, probably.
So Teresa, for seeker, nobody considered that.
Yeah,
Seeker
we do,
determination.
yeah. I think, well, I think there's no surprise in that. That's why we asked them to do it that way, and it would clearly be a type one action, so. You know, do we have the fully AF, so we could start,
We do.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we
Okay.
changed that, I think back in August.
so we should definitely, you know. Declare it legally, and if that's started.
I updated it or not, whatever change. Probably should shoot a latest and greatest, just to make sure.
Send it to come
Yeah.
in and she'll see that the board, that goes out with this coordination, I guess. Are we in the ag district too?
Yeah, look right on the map, guy. No, that's his own. Oh, it's all they did.
Yeah, I
It
guess,
is the best ag.
I guess our goal is to try and get all this stuff taken care of up front, so then when the buildings come in, we can just look at site plans and not have to revisit seeker each time, because we don't want to get segmentation going, you know, so.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna look at everything up front. This,
I did have one minor comment. I looked at that VAF part one quickly, and I did find one thing under section 2.1. We've got impacts to current acreage listed for surface waters. Oh, I'm sorry, you deducted 0.1 acres for wetlands. It's fine. Thank you.
the state is changing the wetlands program. Effective January 1st, 2025, so just be aware of that.
We're in the process of getting that for the permit, so. Oh, we
Well,
know.
that's the yeah,
So,
that's the federal
Well,
one, the
They're
state
gonna
was.
take over every federal one from what I hear, so.
So I think we can
Yeah.
declare ourselves as and start.
So we need what, a public hearing on special use permit and subdivision right now, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Two family home.
Is it a special use permit at this point?
Two family.
Yeah, because it's,
Putting houses in it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
Everybody else has problems with more.
you know, I think we should start, yeah. Just, you know, they've already done a lot of coordination, so I don't see any benefit to waiting for that.
Are there any other?
No, I think it's,
No, okay, I will. I'll go through it again. Just send it, but there's-
Does anyone have any more questions? Motion.
We have a question. Yeah, right here, these buildings on Gage Road that you want to put. Basically, I live directly across from a couple of warehouses you want to knock down. Yeah, right there, the first two driveways. How the heck you gonna pull in and out of there? You can hardly go down that road now, so.
That's what I was saying before, so. This road's too small, so these are gonna be emergency access only roads.
just
So
for
if the fire trucks gotta get in there, we don't wanna.
Fire truck ain't gonna fit in there.
Well,
They got a gate there now that hasn't been opened in since. The
Yes, they do
building
have a
was
gate
built.
there now.
right, but
Yeah,
the main entrance is up off of 20. That's,
Yeah, and then they're
that's,
gonna have a roadway coming down off on the Gage Road. If you follow.
These
it
are,
through the
that's
center.
an emergency, that's an emergency.
So how are you gonna get to the 11 houses? Where's that road gonna be?
which 11 houses?
The third driveway in on Gage Road. Coming from Route 20, the next one down.
There,
Yeah, now that goes all the way out to Route 20.
right, and our intent is there that that would be some sort of emergency access road. From here. Only,
What's to prevent people from cutting through there?
there'll have to be a gate on there
Uh-huh,
that only the fire department will have access to.
okay.
If they have to go that way, I mean, it's,
Yeah, they would choose always to go.
it's
off
a
the
really
20.
big development to only have one access.
Yeah, but that's that point. So say you had a fire condition in the building in front and then you had people in, you need to be able to get people in the back away out on the development, so. I mean, having a secondary means to get out of there.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
prudent.
absolutely. So
And you might have to widen the throat of that road, so you can turn around the cage.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm hoping.
just so you all know,
Talk to
this
fire
is
department,
just
see
the
what
very
he said.
beginning of this process, so there. And I'm not saying don't ask questions, I'm just saying there will be a public hearing. Okay. But you have a question?
Yeah, so do you have anybody established going in yet?
No.
Or with intent, or that's
No.
all still up in the air?
We're here tonight to now push this through. He's actually creating architectural renderings, I think, for a couple of buildings in the front. And once those get finished, he's really gonna, Anthony Goodrow, that is really gonna start marketing, see what we can get.
Yeah, basically, they gotta go through this process first in order to just basically to sell.
And what kind of business are you looking to get in there?
They're gonna be retail, it's gonna be office.
And what about the lighting in the parking lots? Where is the lighting gonna be? In that, so.
The lighting will be behind all the buildings from the road. I mean, they're gonna be dark sky compliant.
Yeah, we can put all sorts of requirements into whatever we approve to address those concerns.
The lights have gotten much better over the years,
Yeah.
just within the last probably 10 years, they've.
And what would be the setbacks to the buildings from Gage Road?
I think they're 80-foot setbacks,
8 foot?
front yard setbacks are 80 feet.
Wonder how close they are now, they must be tremendously
I think
close.
there's a couple. of them pretty close.
Well, the one is probably what? One car
Probably
lane
like down
from
Yeah.
Gage Road.
Yeah,
The
It's almost on the road.
closest to the road.
yeah.
But that's one of the buildings that's coming down, so.
Well, yeah, it's in pretty tough shape,
Yeah.
that one.
Is there an anticipated date for the public hearing?
Oh, no,
No,
not,
no.
not
Yeah,
yeah, too
So
soon.
are you gonna widen Gage Road at all at the, on Route
Our
20?
plan was not to widen it.
Uh-huh.
Again, like I said, we're not trying to utilize it, we're just trying to give a fire truck an alternative way to get to the site.
Making a right-hand turn off Route 20 is pretty tough for a fire truck.
Yeah, but like I said, I think it's more so to have another means for people to get in and out.
Well, if the house caught on fire right now on Gage Road, what would they do?
They're gonna come in there.
Which way?
Very carefully.
That's what I.
There, we've already got.
Oh, they like pour it in,
Come from
make
the
it
other
over
way.
spot.
Yeah.
Boy, you would
Yeah.
come in from the other direction.
That's probably.
Who responds to, is this Lansing or is,
This is the Lansing.
okay,
Yeah, the village, they come up
Yeah.
out of the village, they usually.
I don't read that
Down
that
Nature
transition
Road.
between, it's right in,
It's Gage Road.
is that the cutoff?
Yep.
Yeah, between them and us, so, okay.
Because the Little League is still Esperance, this is. the
Yeah.
Lansing.
Well, that's actually good, because they're coming from.
They're going for the right direction. It's easy to make a left turn, yeah, so, yeah. Which to that point, I mean, they'll be pulling water from the pond down on Gage and Thousand Acres. So. That's what that's where they pull water from.
Is that where they go? Okay, so they're used to doing.
They got
Like
that
that,
little,
what we needed.
they got that little pond on the property there now.
Well, I assume that you'll be letting us know what your firefighting plans are. You're gonna
Yes.
use tanks.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna have to come up with something.
Yeah, because it's no water, no sewer.
Right. And again, it's really early to figure out all that stuff right now until
Now,
we start realizing what's been doing.
when you build a retail, are you having fire hydrants out there? There's not enough water out in that area.
This is not publicly.
No public.
Yeah.
It's not public.
Depending on the building use, they might have to have fire suppression, but in that case, you have to have an underground tank, like a 30,000 gallon tank.
Mhm.
Or at grade, like a lot of the warehouses we work on there at grade,
Yeah, it depends on what the building use and the code requirements are.
you know.
Do they plan on having retail space on the corner of Gage and 20?
That
Right
was
there,
probably
10,000
gonna be
square
retail,
feet.
yes.
I will make a motion that the town of Waynesburg Planning Board will be the seeker lead agency for the Parkview Ticonderoga, excuse me, special use permit.
Which is a type one
Type one action, most definitely, yes. So I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Board Member Novak,
Yes.
Board Member Walpole,
Yes.
Chairman Schmidt,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Garrett,
Yes.
Board Member Howard.
Yes.
And I think we can go ahead with the coordinated review letters. So I know you've already reached out to DEC, but we should go ahead, Corin, and send something to DEC, SHPO, DOH, DOT, and, do we typically send something to the Army Corps? Or, I know you're coordinating with them.
You might as well send something to them, just so they know we're here, but we'll never hear from them.
I don't think we're gonna hear from them.
Yeah.
It's not, it's so minor of a disturbance that they're not even responding these days.
And we'll need a county plan board.
Yeah. definitely. Well, and DOT, and we should also,
Did I say it?
Yeah.
You
put
did.
down
Oh, that's okay, DOH too.
Yep, yes.
and the fire company, we should send to.
You have all those letters ready to go?
Not for this one.
It's still early.
Okay, so this is a good step. I find it encouraging that some of the contiguous property owners are here tonight, and I think it's good that they're here and that you start this process with the neighborhood early.
Right.
Because the last thing anybody needs is a surprise next to them.
I'll certainly relay the information.
And it's really important for the whole project and the community that
Yeah.
these guys, the three guys in the back row,
Absolutely.
don't look them mad.
So if you guys have contact information you can give them, that would be.
Yeah, it's really important. If we want this, make it easier. Everybody to go in harmony on a project, or this is one of the bigger projects that you've seen in years. And I think it's encouraging for the town to be able to have something like this, if built that comes like you can envision, so. Just get the community involved, that's what I can say, is because there could be a lot of community acceptance, or it could go the other way. We want to build acceptance.
Do you think next month or to come back or?
When you feel you're, ready, with the remaining information, is there anything else you want us to? consider?
We would like to go forward with the subdivision. And obviously try and get the special use permit and possibly the neg deck determination.
So I think what he wants to do is they want to subdivide the residential lots first, and that's it.
Yeah, that would be the first thing.
That's what he wants to do now. He wants to make the two residential lots in one big lot. So that they can start marketing the residential lots. Am I right?
Yes, yep.
Okay, so that's gonna be, special use permit and. Cause
And a
it's,
subdivision?
and a
It'll
subdivision.
be a major
It's
subdivision,
major.
because he's
Yeah.
creating three
This will be two applications.
lots.
Yeah, it would be special use permit
Yeah. And a major subdivision.
and major subdivision, yeah. And you wanna do it in two pieces for sure, because, you're gonna go through all this to get the two residential lots.
Well, see, that's why I wanted to talk about it because. Is it possible to get knowing we're gonna be subdividing more at some point,
Yeah,
we'd like to do the two first, get that out of the way, get down to the 82 acres. At that time. Can we do a neg deck for the entire site and make it one thing?
I think we have to do a neg deck for the entire site
Right.
before you get the two.
Or that,
residential
yes,
lots. Yeah,
yes,
I think
yes. Yep.
that's the case.
Yeah,
So what we'll do is, even though you're not applying for the lot subdivision on the remainder of the property, we're still gonna look at it as. a
right, like it's
whole.
gonna be fully subdivided, like it's gonna be fully
Right.
built out.
Right,
Cause then in the future, when we come back and build. The two buildings in the back, we don't have to go visit seeker
Right.
and stuff like that.
you can phase the subdivision, that's fine, but it would be good to we need to look at everything up front.
Mhm.
Do we need a town designated engineer or do some of this stuff?
That's entirely up to you guys. This is land
pretty big.
subdivision and.
And it's just a large development.
I would say yes, but. Right now,
I was gonna say-
all I have is a concept, so it's not really.
I don't know if we
other than
need it right
looking at
now for the
existing stuff.
residential lots.
Yeah,
But when he comes back,
We have
We
to
have
look at
Do
everything.
everything at once,
All
first,
right.
everything,
Yeah,
otherwise it's segmentation for secret
Right.
potential.
okay,
So I'm just thinking of the lighting plan, or, you know, Hoffman
Yeah,
gets
SWIFT,
to do all
yeah.
the SWIFT stuff, you know, we're dumping a lot on in just for
Yeah.
SWIFT. I don't think it would be too extensive, but if it's a big development.
why don't we go out for the proposals on it and see what we get back? Okay, is that reasonable? That way we're not holding anything.
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, but then we'll keep it moving.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I can't really give them that much. I look at this as, even though it's not, it's like, kind of like a zoning change, like what we would do in another town, you know, where they do PDDs and stuff like that. Trying to get all that stuff done up front,
Yeah.
and then you come back when you guys are, when we're ready to do the site plans, then you guys just start looking at site plans. So we don't have to do all this stuff every time.
Well, we've done this before, certainly. Some of us have done this before where, you know, PDDs are obnoxious, you know, and we don't have them in our zoning code.
Right.
So we're gonna try to do a conceptual subdivision review and look at everything for secret. So I think the biggest issues are always stormwater, water and sewer. So you might need to advance that a little bit, okay? Just so we can make sure that everything will work.
Yeah, and I mean, I have some concept grading plans that I can certainly submit, but again. If this building moves from here to here and it gets smaller, you know, I mean, it's, but at least you're seeing the full build out and you can get the idea. That will-
I mean,